R129 is a 90s icon, and in today's video we're going to focus on the 500 SL. The Mercedes-Benz R129 is a roadster that was produced by Mercedes-Benz from 1989 to 2001, and it replaced the R107. The R129 was offered as a two-door roadster with a fully automated electro-hydraulic fabric convertible roof, and it also had a manually detachable hardtop for all year round driving. It was available as a straight 6, V6, V8 and V12, but in today's video we're going to be focusing on an early V8 example. Bruno Sacco began designing the car in 1984, and it was based on a shortened floor plan of the Mercedes-Benz W124. The new SL was presented at the Geneva Motor Show in March in 1989, and the left-hand drive sales began that summer and the right-hand drive sales began in the autumn. Bruno Sacco created an iconic design, and he said that the R129 just has the perfect profile and that it was the most perfect car of his career. When the R129 was first released, you had two engine options, the 300 SL and the 500 SL. The R129 had a lot to live up to. Mercedes-Benz had sold almost 250,000 former R107s by the end of its production. Over the production span, 213,000 R129s were made, and according to the DVLA, less than 2,500 SLs are still on Britain's roads. In its heyday, the 500 SL base starting price was $89,000, which back then was the same price as a house. Bruno Sacco's design was instantly recognizable, with angular silhouette with its long, low bonnet that gave it an incredible stance on the roads. Mercedes put everything they could into this car, and it was chock full of tech. The seats alone had 20 patented parts, including inbuilt seat belts that automatically raised and lowered to match the height of the headrest. They also had magnesium frames, 5 separate electric motors apiece, and actually won awards for how good they were. The SL also include brake assist, stability control, active dampening, and there was also a self-leveling suspension called ADS that was an optional extra. They thought of everything. If the car knew it had its roof down and you pressed lock with the infrared locking system, it would wirelessly lock every compartment inside the car, so even if the roof was down, no one could get in. Safety was Mercedes-Benz's #1 priority, and they designed crumple zones and, most importantly, a roll bar. Up until this point, convertibles were not safe if you rolled them, but Mercedes-Benz designed a fully hydraulic roll bar that would release within 0.3 of a second if it sensed you were about to go rubber side up. The R129 even had a royal owner, Princess Diana, who had a 500 SL in burgundy, just like the one we're reviewing today. So let's now talk specifically about this 500 SL. Now this car was built in 1991. And what that means is this is a pre-facelift R129, which is why it is called a 500 SL and not an SL 500. Under the hood is a 32-valve, 5-litre quad-cam V8, producing 322 brake horsepower, which meant it could run the quarter mile in under 14 seconds and do 0 to 60 in around 6 seconds. The earlier cars were also mated to a 4-speed hydraulic gearbox instead of the 5-speed electronic gearbox that was found in later cars, but we'll talk about them in a different video. The 4-speed gearbox provided effortlessly smooth changes, but it did receive criticism about not being as responsive as the later 5-speed. The R129's party piece is the fully electric roof. All you had to do was hold the button and the car would automatically raise or lower its soft top within 30 seconds. Up until this point, there was no other convertible on the road that could fully lower or raise its soft top by itself without any human intervention. As previously mentioned, the roll bar would deploy automatically if it sensed a rollover was imminent. But if you want to, you can also put the roll bar up yourself, but it just takes a little bit longer than 0.3 seconds. So now you know all about the history of the R129 and what this 500 SL has. Now let's take it for a spin and see what it's like on the roads. Okay, so we're now behind the wheel of the 500 SL, and what's it like? Well, you've got that big M119 5-litre V8 under the hood, growling along. You can feel it wants to go. It's still such a great Grand Tourer. You've got a big comfy steering wheel. Yes, it doesn't have that much feel in it, but it's super easy and gentle to drive. You've got super comfortable seats with, as we said, over 20 patented parts. So Mercedes really went over the top, but you've still got that power when you want it. What Mercedes wanted to do is build the ultimate Grand Tourer, and we're cruising along at 40 mile an hour now, low RPMs, and it's the easiest car ever to drive. Such smooth, comfortable suspension. With the ADS, we've just got it set as standard at the moment. When you do turn in, you can feel there is a bit of, not that much feel in the steering wheel, and it does handle like it's a heavy car. It was never meant to be a track car, it was meant to be a Grand Tourer. So on these nice twisty lanes, you've got that great power from the V8 M119 5 litre. And what's it like when you put your foot down? Gets a shift on. You've got 322 horsepower under the hood. Yes, it's nothing like a modern car, but it still has more than enough power to have fun. It really is a 90s icon. I love how retro the dials are, how retro everything is in this car. It really takes you back to a very cool era. This particular example doesn't have heated seats, but that was an option. And Mercedes really put every piece of luxury they could in this car, and you can really tell that. I mean, it feels like you're driving a piece of 90s technology, and it was so ahead of its time that even in 2024, it still feels like it has all the creature comforts you really need. It doesn't have anything that you don't need, it just has the absolute essentials, so you can use this as a daily driver, no problems, except for that fuel economy. Obviously, you've got a 5 litre V8 under the hood, so you can't expect it to be the most fuel efficient car in the world, but that's not what it's made for. So what's the gearbox like? Well, as I previously mentioned, they did upgrade these with the 5-speed, but in today's video, as we're focusing on an early example, we've got a 4-speed hydraulic gearbox. And it's a bit of a controversial topic because some people will say that the 4-speed is the much smoother, more Grand Tourer gearbox, and the 5-speed is a much sportier gearbox. And that is true, but when you're going along like this, you can lock it into second gear, and then you kind of take out all that gearbox delay. Then you're just purely on the engine. And now we're getting on the twisty roads, stiffened up the ADS. It really does have enough power to have fun. So now we're back from the drive and you've seen what the 500 SL is like on the roads. I hope you've enjoyed learning more about this iconic 90s modern classic. And I will soon be making more videos on the different engine variations of the R129, so you can find your perfect SL.